difference makers. Now, before I go any further, I want to try to clarify something for you. UDs. Now, what is UD? A UD is an unlawful detainer. A UD is an eviction action that a landlord puts against a tenant through the court system for non-payment of rent, usually.
What they used to call before they changed it?
It's always been UDs.
Unlawful detainer.
Unlawful detainer. But eviction action.
Yeah, the tricky devils changed it to
But 7 to 10 years. Now, say for instance, like your business closes up. And your business moves out of the country or what have you. So you lost your job. You didn't get no severance pay. So you aren't able to pay your rent. So what do these unscrupulous landlords do to you? They kick you out on the street, knowing that they've given you a UD, knowing that if you got a UD, you can't get an apartment for 7 to 10 years. Now you say 7 to 10 years, that seems like an awful lot. Yes, that's an awful lot of time. However, they've been doing it, and for over 20 years, I've been fighting for this UD amnesty bill.
Tell the people what state you're in.
I'm in the state of Minnesota.
Because it's on YouTube, so they don't know.
But
go ahead.
In a lot of other surrounding states, they have UD.
No, just 2 of them.
If you got a UD, you cannot get an apartment. And what's so killing about it? Everywhere you go, you got to pay $35 for an application fee, and you may have to go to 10 places before you find an apartment. And then when they find out you got a UD, you still don't get the apartment, and you don't get your money back.
Lord, some of them is $40 now and $50. 35 is the old. They didn't went up. And not only that, in California and over the state of Washington, they had UDs over there. Now, whether they cleared them up by now, I don't know. But they used to have it in Minnesota, California, and Washington. And I can believe you still going on California. That's why they got a lot of homeless people in those new tents.
Well, we got a lot of homeless people here. Like during the time when the marathon, when I was at the hospital down there, I looked out the window and I seen all them people with tents across the street from a hospital and the umbrellas. And you know it was raining and stuff. You know, like me personally, I feel that we should have did much more. For over 20 years, I've been fighting for this UD amnesty bill. I have had some good people fighting with Sharon Sales Milton, Mayor Archie Ryback, Karen Clark, Representative Karen Clark,
U.S. Congressman.
U.S. Congressman Keith Ellison. It was a lot of good people.
State Senator Linda Bergman.
Linda Bergman, like I can't mention all. It's so many.
Judge Tom Hayes. You got to mention them if you thought calling name. Judge Tom Hayes, Attorney Larry Leventhal.
Yeah, God rest his soul. They called him Louis David because he go against the Giants.
Mike Wynn of Emerge. Gary Cunningham.
Yeah,
Shane Price.
He was married to Betsy Hodges, who was the ex-mayor.
So, you know, those are...
some of the people that supported us in the past.
We also had the Habitat for Homes, the one that was Habitat, right?
Habitat.
Yeah, them people, and a lot of, we had a lot of support. Okay, so now we took a break and we got to get back up in it. So...
Because, well, I didn't know that things were still as bad as that. Matter of fact, they did worse in some instances. You know, like, let me tell you something. You can say what you want to about Donald Trump, but he is doing a damn good job as far as I'm concerned. He's opened up more doors, and he's opened up more employment. He's allowed people to get more money back. And He's doing stuff that the last 3 presidents should have been doing.
Look at your check to see if you get some extra money back.
Clinton.
Look at your payroll check, seriously, and see if you get extra back.
Barack Obama, Clinton, Barack Obama, and Bush. They should have been doing all this stuff years ago.
Not only them, all of the presidents, you want going way back.
They
but that's
knew
the way
about
it goes. But that's the way it goes. So now we're glad that things are changing, and they're changing for the best. And we're going to get back out there and fight. We took a break for a while, but you're on your way back, right?
Yeah. Let me tell you something. We need your support, though. We're going to be giving you numbers during the next 3 weeks because in May, we're going to have the UD Amnesty Bill Summit and the Difference Makers Award Ceremony. So you're going to be hearing about the address and numbers where you can reach us if you want to be a part of this endeavor. It will be, it's something, like we're supposed to help one another. We're supposed to look out for one another. One of the reasons I got into this 20-something years ago was because of the fact I was on the bus and there was this woman with these 3 little children. 2 of them was walking and she had one in her arm, and the ones who was walking, they shouldn't have been walking. And it was so cold, it was ridiculous. And I felt so sorry for them. And anyway, a friend of mine picked them up and took them to the building. We were staying across the street from the old KMOJ. And when we was in there, the baby that was in her arms started turning blue. I said, what's going on? And I don't know what they call it, hypothermia, but in any event, and the reason is that she was out there on the street because she had a UD. She had lost her job, she couldn't pay her rent, and the landlord kicked her out. So, like Mary Jo's was filled up, because that's what she was walking from, Mary Jo's. And I said, wait a minute, something ain't right. And the woman just broke down crying, talking about, well, everybody said, oh, they want 35. Back then, they wanted 35. This was over 20 years ago. They wanted $35 for an application fee. And she said she didn't pay 4 application fees. She didn't have money to be constantly paying application fees.
And they still didn't give her the place.
Still didn't give her the place.
They kept the money.
And kept the money. In any event, the baby that turned blue died. And the poor woman almost lost her mind. I mean, it was such a devastating blow to have somebody you love die. I mean, it's nothing that you can do about it because they went past that point of no return. So I started looking into what the hell is a UD. And when I found out a UD was an unlawful detainer, so what makes it unlawful? See, back then, I don't know if they're still able to do it now. If I liked her and she didn't like me back, and I was a landlord, I could evict her.
Well, they still do that now.
Well, I didn't.
They still doing that now.
I didn't know that they were still doing it.
Well, they doing it all. If you remember, you took 2 of them to court. 2 landlords at 2 different apartments because the place, one of them, the heat wasn't working, and it was, and I went down to Gary. I said, I ain't staying up in this. I'm out of this camp. It's too cold. Love, you handling it, I'll be back. It was so cold on the window that it was frost inside the apartment, on the inside of the window, straight around. I said, no, I'll be in the hospital. I can't do this. And then a little girl, a little African girl, she did catch pneumonia. That's right. What is it? The furnace, it was real old. And we called the building inspectors and all that. And they told him he had to get a new furnace. Meanwhile, Because
people still freezing to death.
Meanwhile, once he got mad, he took them to court and they put a UD on him. And he took him to court. The other one, when we first came back from Ohio, back in the end of 2009, September 2009, the man, he needed a toilet on the floor, you know. Yeah, that's very dangerous, you know. Now the rats be running up there, the gas and all that.
Bats be flying around.
And you know what? And guess who got the UD? Because he had that place fixed up. We did. But you know what? The Lord's always our angels. He sent them angels to watch us and everything. Sure, so you know we got another place. But it's the idea. Now we got treated like that. We know a lot of other people get treated like that. And see, the thing is, you cannot say if pretend like I'm his landlord and I flirt with him. He just told you, and I could. All right. Well, I'm going to get you the UD, and you're not going to get a decent place. Okay, you can get a place, but guess what? It's going to be so slummish that you're going to have to come up with a whole lot of money.
To fix it up?
Because they're not going to fix it up. Matter of fact, they may not even paint it. Matter of fact, you may not even want it because it's going to be filthy and stuff, you know.
And see, that was just one incident. That little girl died. It was over 694 people died.
They died.
During that
every
period
year,
of
it'd be
time.
different people.
During that period of time. Now, Judge Tom Haig, he directed me to the sources that can give me that information.
He was housing court judge at that time.
He was the head housing court judge. And he and I got to be very, very good friends and stuff. And him and Patrice and stuff, we took pictures together and stuff, just like R.T. Ryback. R.T. Ryback was a very good friend of ours. Matter of fact, we've had some very good friends, but that's because of the fact they see we are serious. We want change. We want to see something good happen to the people. These poor Indians, like running around in, this was their land, but they didn't use that term eminent domain to take everything from them that they want. And there's nothing that they can do about it.
They sleep in those tents.
They don't even get a chance to sleep in the tent. They just sleep out in the open park. That's how you think 694 people died in such a short period of time.
But I seen some tents when I was driving the other day, and they was around their area. So I'm sure there was a whole lot different. There was more than blue. There was different colors. But you know what? These people up here really don't care. Because let me tell you why they don't care, TV Land. Our state legislature could put a cap on them raising the rent up. Nobody can afford to be paying $1,100 for 2 bedrooms. Okay. So now that's one thing. Okay. And then every year they keep raising rent, they raise the rent. Now, they're going to be building the train in the suburbs.
And they're going to tear them people's houses down.
Oh, in North Minneapolis,
they're going to use eminent domain to do it. And there's nothing them people can do.
And they can get a little money, but it's not going to be worth the house. But my girlfriend...
And how they going to find another place if they are happy or satisfied with in that short period of time? Because you only have a certain
short period of time. And so now my girlfriend lives in the suburbs, not too far from me. And she started out with the 2 bedrooms, like $750. Although it's been a long time, 2001. But guess what? They kept going $25 every month. Now she's paying $975 for 2 lousy bedrooms with no amenities. Listen to the land. If I pay $1,000 for 2 bedrooms, I got to have a garage. I got to have my swimming pool. I got to have my fitness room. Because that's what they have in the suburbs here, you know. But if you want a real elaborate, you're going to be paying 17, 18, yeah, 50, 14, you know. But that's in a different area. But out there where I'm at, you know, I'm not moving into no place that I'm not going to have no amenities for that type of rent, you know. And they keep going up. And then they tell her, well, the light rail is not going to be too far from your house, so we have to go up. So you're going to go up every year. You know, and your job may not give you no wages now.
That you can walk to the light rail now. You can save a lot of money.
They don't
Who
want you
wants to walk to
stuff.
the light rail? They want to drive their car. And see, that's the killing part about it. There's nothing that can be did about it by just one lone citizen. You need a legislative move in order to make this become a reality. That's the reason this UD amnesty bill is so important. And we need everyone's support in order to get this UD amnesty bill out. And the number that you can reach us for this particular bill, to work on this bill, is 763-703-0546.
Say it again.
763-703-0546.
We're going to be doing the tenant training program, and we need you to call, okay? Because some of you got UDs and you want to get them off, you want to get them expunged, you want to take this class so you can get a certificate. The class is just, what, maybe 3 hours? It's not going to be a long drawn up like last time. We're going to condense it because you may not be able to come back the next day. We want you to get what you need so you can get you a place.
And get you a certificate, so you show the certificate to your potential landlord, and he see that you done went through the training, and he's going to give you that place. See, a lot of people do not know how to be good tenants. They bug the next door neighbors. They have people running in and out. They have loud noise and stuff. They have the police running in and out and stuff. And see, these are some of the things that you're going to be taught to avoid. You don't put yourself in a situation where you would lose your place to stay. And do you know how hard it is to, especially if you got a lot of stuff to move, how hard it is to move and how much money you need to move? Normally, you have to discard a lot of the belongings that you have because of the fact that you don't have you don't have no way of transporting them, and
then you're gonna let somebody come in your house and make you lose your place, and they go back home. Yeah,
or go back to one of the other friends' houses. See, there are some people who just go from friend's house, friend's couch, from friend's couch, and they do this, and they've gotten quite good at it. You know what? One of the reasons I mentioned that because some people that I know, I don't know them personally. I'm talking about 2.5 Men, Charlie Sheen.
Oh,
he let Alan come in, his brother on the film come in, and he been there for 7 years. And they was talking about it last night on the thing. He said, well, you say, well, why should I apologize? You just been here a couple of months. I've been here 7 years.
We know people like that too, Lord. Now, anyway, okay, so we serious about this UD thing because this change gotta happen now.
It's got to.
People cannot afford to die because they freezing to death. Personally, I wouldn't be up here. I'll go back home and beg my mama. If something I did, I would not be here homeless. This is the worst, one of the worst, because North Dakota is worse.
Yeah.
But you know,
But this is going to be a cold, cold winter.
Cold.
And we may as well prepare. Now, you see all the new buildings they're building downtown and St. Paul and stuff. People can't afford them. And another thing, they got UDs, they can't even take a look at them. First thing you want to do is check your record.
That's right.
Your rental record, your jail record.
Credit record.
Your credit record.
Got bad credit, you may not get it, see?
And you got a bad rental record, you may not get it. And if you know you ain't going to get it if you got a UD. And here, you done paid all these $35, $40 or whatever they charge now, and yet and still they don't give you a place.
Listen to this one.
And you think the government would have some place set aside.
But they don't.
FEMA talking about they doing this and they doing that.
Not for us, Jerome. They said Minnesota take care of itself. Now, here we go. Doing that tornado thing. Now, here we go. Well, Minnesota do have a lot of money. Now, here we go. They say they don't, but yes, they do. Now, because you can tell the builders and stuff they building. Okay, now here they go. One say A charge you $40 for application, and then might want they said damage deposit. Well, give me $200 on that, but not in the black neighborhood. Well, it is a racial thing. I'm gonna tell you that now, because downtown and through the suburbs, they only pay like $200 deposit. Not all of them, but most of them, or $300. But in the black area, you gonna pay, if it's $1,000 a move, you can pay $1,000 deposit. You're not just gonna pay out.
And they want you to have 2 months rent and a month's security.
So if you got $700, you better come up with $2,100. Now who can do that?
And have money to move. And have money to pay the
Who can do
bills.
that?
And have money to rent a truck or whatever.
Now $700 is cheap. I just threw it out there because years ago one bedroom was $700. So now I just told you $1,100 and $1,000. So you got to come up with $2,000 plus you got to
$3,000 or something.
And you just don't have the money, you know. So it's best to stay where you at, and even if it's small, and try
that's
to make
one of
it
the reasons it's so
money.
important for you to come to the certification classes and stuff, so you can learn how to be good tenants. And he have no reason to turn you down or even be charging you application fees and stuff like that because of the fact that.
But some of them check your credit.
Yeah,
so now if you got bad credit, you know.
Well,
so,
most people, at least over 50% of the people have bad credit. It's not because of something that they did, because they either lost their job, the business closed up.
That's another class. I'll tell you how to clear the credit go.
And these are some secrets, television audience, that you've got to know, because not only do you have to set an example for yourself, you got to set an example for your teenage kids, because they ain't going to be wanting to live. When they get to be 18, 19, I left out of home when I was 15, but I didn't have no other choice because I was kind of bad in Chicago. And Mama said, put my clothes in the shopping bag and put them outside the door, and said, 2 grown people ain't going to be living in the same house together at my house. And
that's the way they played it. You didn't play with them back then.
And I'm 70 years old, and so it wasn't nothing. I mean, I was 15, so that means that was 55 years ago.
Isn't that somehow time go by?
You know, and my mama is still living.
98.
God bless her. So
98, getting around. Now tell me this. Now tell me, he got something to tell you. He want to thank you all, of the Twin Cities, and then you too, but especially the Twin Cities because they prayed for you.
Oh yeah, well, thank you for all of your prayers and your good warm thoughts you sent onto the universe for me, because a lot of people didn't think I was going to get up out, because I was in a coma for 5 days, and I just been out of the hospital now for about 5 days. And stuff. You know, like you can't stop a child of God. God did not bring us this far to leave us, and you've got to believe that. And you've got to believe that you are the example of the elder of your family, and you have got to live so that your family, like Abraham Lincoln say, I'm proud of the way a man lives, and I like to see a man live so that place will be proud of him. In other words, you know, like that place where you living at, you make it proud that like you represent it, and because it represents you. It's standing strong, it's standing beautiful, it's standing, giving you the support that you need, giving you the shelter you need, giving you everything you need that a house can do. So you do everything you can for that house and your family. And you can do it. Only thing you got to do is have a made up mind. You know, like say, no, I'm not going that way. And I'm gonna tell you something. You know, most of you have one time or another went to church. I have been in churches all my life. I played piano for over a couple of decades in different churches and stuff. I have seen people sit up there, and these people don't get number one check a month from Social Security or welfare. And then they let the preacher tell them to give till it hurt, give till it hurt. It's hurting now. God done already gave me. He said, God gonna give it back to you. God done already gave me. He done gave me the money to pay my rent. He done gave me the money to pay my life. He done gave me the money to pay my gas. He done gave me money to pay my water bill. He done gave me money to pay my car note. And then you want me to give it to you, and you stand in the mansion, and you getting thousands of dollars every week, and yet and still you talking about give till it hurt. Oh no. We got to come to an understanding in some kind of way. I know it said in the Bible you're supposed to give 10%.
Do it? They really don't.
But that's what somebody.
That's what they say. Listen, let's clear this up real quick. Abraham gave 10% because he wanted to, because that king told him to take him his wife and leave the land, and leave the land quickly, you know, and take all his animals. That's how he got rich, through those animals and everything. And because, remember, he had to pretend like that was his sister Sarah, because the king was liking Sarah. Actually, they didn't go through the whole thing, but you know that king was going with Sarah because he said, why did you, if it's more than like, he wouldn't be mad. He said, why did you tell me this was your wife? Get out of here and take everything. So
he said, why didn't you tell me it was your wife?
That's right, because he didn't know that was his wife. So the Lord had to reveal that was Abraham's wife. Okay, so now look, and you could look in Genesis, and when I'm talking, I always like to show you too. But anyway, so now, so they left. Okay, and Abraham was.
Well, how did they come up with this? Give 10%.
But you listen, I tell you, and I tell TV at the same thing. Abraham wanted to give the 10% to God. God didn't. God only commanded 2 things in the Bible for you to do: Holy Communion. He said, take this until I come back, and water baptism. Those are the 2 ordinances. Baptize. Why? Because Jesus is baptized. That's why baptism is to identify yourself as being a follower of Christ. That's what baptism is. Okay? So, the old man is dead, and you go down in the water, you're being buried, and you come up in the newness of Christ. The new man, because you believe in Jesus. So now you're not dead, and it's just to identify. He said, do that. Okay, and he also said, take the thing. And so these people, throughout the years, had changed it so they can profit out of it, give 10%. Yeah, God wants you to give. But now he didn't say that it's a requirement. I just told you the 2 requirements.
Well, in Zechariah, you say something about 10%.
No, it don't. And I'm going to tell you something. Well, I have to read the book of Zechariah. We'll come back to it. We'll read it tonight at home. In the next class, we will do it. I'm going to tell you, unless you know what chapter. You can tell me what verse and stuff?
I can't tell you.
Okay, then. Okay, but I can look it up through here. Zechariah.
They said it's where they say, would a man rob Christ?
Oh, that's Malachi.
Malachi.
That's not what he's even talking about anyway. He's talking about, I'm going to go back to say what I'm saying, then we're going to hit Malachi. In Corinthians, 1 Corinthians, Paul said, he was talking to the church, first church in Antioch, he said, give according to what God had prospered on the first day of the week. According to what God had prospered. And that's in the New Testament. Give according to what God prospered. If you remember, the little lady only had a penny, 1 farthing, and that's what she gave. And then do you think God said, no, I don't want that? He blessed her. You give what you got. You know, TV Land, you got a fixed income. You can't afford to be given
every time they have a special event.
But not only that, you can't afford to be given tithes. If you get $300, You can't afford to get 30 because you got to live off that a month. Okay, you got to pay your rent. You got to buy food. You got to pay your light and your gas. Now, if you don't pay none of that stuff, guess what? They're going to cut your light and gas off, and the man going to put you out.
Sure is.
Now, can you go to church and say, well, I paid my time money, and can you help me out? He going to say no. Or he going to say, well, we're going to have
been that stupid.
He going to say, we're going to have a big, meeting and stuff, and then they're going to say no. Or they're going to say, oh, if they do, you got to pay it back. Now, you didn't put your tithes in all this time of offerings.
All these years.
But
when you need something.
But you can't get it back. Like he said, God gave you the money to pay your bills. You better pay them. Now, we used to do church services. When was it? 2002, 2004, up to until we moved to Mill.
We did.
I said, now, I don't need your money. I work every day. I'm a nurse. I don't need your money. All right? So how they going to give you $100, $200 or $300 for anniversary? And I'm not going to be putting people in bondage.
That's what you're doing.
Because I know I don't have that time.
You are necessary.
And I don't believe in church anniversary. And you give a love offering, you have lots of food and guests and stuff. Church offering's okay. Here they go. He worked hard all year. He went up to the jail. You paying him to come up to jail cell. That's what he's supposed to do. You come and go to the house. He's supposed to be obedient and go and feed the sheep no matter do the work. So why you got to pay him to do this? This
ritual. And if you don't, there'd be a whole bunch of churches come over. They have this church going to be there this week. This. One of the reasons I know, because my uncle all over the country, and they'd have what they call Pentecost, and they come see the big mansion he lived in up there in Virginia. Oh, I can't speak.
Well, now that's it. Yeah. So now, that's how he got rich. Okay, and just so start talking.
He was a dynamic preacher. He was one of the preachers. Feel it when he speak. And just like Frederick Price, first time I went up. Now, how you buy your wife a pink Rolls Royce?
Off of people's money. Listen, if they spend more time into telling people they're going to go to hell if they don't turn from their sins.
I thought it was a good
yeah, because a teacher, but I'm going to tell you what they're talking about. They talking about something, all right there. Like, giving all your money and stuff, and then your house get repossessed and all. They ask for like that in a week. If you got that kind of money, and hell, I don't even make that a year. Go ahead and get them 2 weeks and let them go ahead.
What can you teach me about prosperity where I can be able to give?
For the people that's going to give. So you willing to do all motivational speaking, they not telling you about salvation, because that's what it's about, Jesus Christ. And live like that, you go right ahead. I'm not going to do it. And because I used to listen to it and stuff. Well, you know what? That's fine. You do what you believe in. And that's it. So, you know.
God do not let you being a damn fool, you getting all your money around limousines and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Now, here's one of the things is Abraham, and Abraham went up out of Egypt. Okay, so he had to be black because he blended in, right? Mm-hmm. He went up to the north, Lot went south. And Abram was very rich in cattle. How did he get to become rich? The 9th verse. And Abram journeyed, for the famine was grievous in the land. And it came to pass when he was come near to, I know that thou art a fair woman to look upon. Therefore it should come to pass, they will kill me, but they will save thee alive. Say, I pray thee, thou art. And it came to pass that when Abram was coming to Egypt, the Egyptians beheld the woman before Pharaoh, and the woman was taken into Pharaoh's house. Mm-hmm. And he had sheep and oxen and asses and men servants and men servants, maid servants, great plagues because of Sarah, Abram's wife. What do you think? And Pharaoh called Abram and said, what is it thou hast done? I might have taken her to me to wife. Now therefore, behold, send him away and his wife and all that he had. Do you see what I'm talking about? All right. I'm going to keep going. Actually, to be honest, it's not going to tell you everything. But you know if this man, this king, see, 66 books. But it's been translated a lot of times. But King James, he did that. Okay.
Write the Bible.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And back then they weren't doing no mixed marriages and all. Okay, and start talking to him so I can tell you something.
She's 90-something she had.
Isaac.
Yeah, well, see, this just goes to show you that you. Now, I said that to say that this man, he had you, my sister. Therefore, they won't try to harm me so that they could take you and wife. She did what the Pharaoh found out about it. He got real angry.
Now he had the plagues too.
Mm-hmm.
The guy started destroying. That's how he said sisters and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, he really did. He really thought that was his sister.
Like a lot of times, what appears to be only half of what you see.
And see, God, that's right. You were all right. So he left Egypt and he took Lot with him. Okay, and Abram, this is the second verse. Let him go, and he went on his journeys from the south even to Bethel until he had made there at first. And there Abram called on the name of the Lord. And tense. Okay, so now, and you can't live with your relatives, you know.
Well, see, Lot's wife was dealing with things that she had no business dealing with and stuff, fornicating and two angels to destroy that place.
But she won't go back. She didn't want to give up that old life.
And she ended up turning. When you've given direct instructions,
that's right,
from no preacher, I'm talking about from God. They direct have got to administer and adhere to what the path that he's showing you, the ways that he's teaching.
Make it plain. That's right.
Woe be unto you to leave you. He did not breathe this far to leave you. And don't let no. Yeah, that's right.
Tell them what they told you in the hospital. Trying to walk away.
That bald-headed African telling me that stuff. And then they're going to lock me up, chain me up, talking about this for your own fall and bust my head.
You was trying to walk. So.
Please.
They told him that Monday he was ready to go. They couldn't believe it. They said, oh, no, he can't go. 5:30 in the morning.
If they wasn't going to let me out, I was going to walk out. It didn't make me no difference. And it was all because of my own stupidity.
Doctor said he never seen nothing like it. Friday, he wasn't walking. You know, he took a little steps. But the therapist had to write out, tell him what he had, a little bitty thing around you, right?
Yeah. I told him, I don't need that.
He said, who is the right person?
Let's see if you're the right person. This is
hold it and go up and down the stairs. He said, I'm signing you out right now. You can walk. And he told me, he did. And I said, Jesus in prayer. That's right. But I know this was a 911 a call because he was asleep for how many days? For only one day, the coma. It lasted 5. 911. So it's all the point. But we got ever increasing greatly, a huge faith. Okay? Because, and I got everybody praying. That's right, strangers and everybody. For those prayers.
Even some of my relatives told them not to let me out.
Yeah.
Y'all ain't God. How y'all gonna tell me how I...
Well, see, the faith. It's all according to your faith.
Yeah, well, my...
Was through all these years.
And he didn't bring us this far to leave.
And so why would we not... They're talking to you right now.
And next week we're gonna give you the list summit and for the...
help you all. We really do.
Yeah.
We have a passion for helping people.
And
so whether you do it or not, all of us have a mission.
How they use it so. And you know, well, whoop-de do.
Well, I don't either.
If I can help it, I don't be around them type of selfish people.
You know what, TV Land, you can't be around negative people. Somebody always putting you down. Say what you ain't gonna do and what you know. It's one thing that some people, and sometimes all black and white, they have gray areas too. So I have a plan out. In some situations, it could have been a C.
Got a C plan.
Not the hospital, because they wanted to put him in nursing home. They really did, because he couldn't walk. But we already know standing up. No matter what, you just kept on standing up. And then he was walking. And I said, praise ye the Lord. But I always believed it. That's why through this storm, because the thing was on him, the life support was breathing for him. that machine, so he wasn't breathing. And here he is right now, talking and smiling, and because you got to know what to do in your family. You don't know if you're going to get sick. You know to do 3 things, and I'm going to say this, sacrifice. You know, when you heard of it, Abraham gave the sacrifice. God didn't say, just turned around and said, well, you got to.
Malachi.
Well, Malachi.
I'm going to read through Malachi.
I'm going to tell you no more. You already know that Abraham did the sacrifices and stuff.
And I'm going to speak
and
to you about love. I'm waiting on that.
Because I still had to say something else, and then I'm doing the 4th chapter. You heard this at church at the Chicago.
They used it in Chicago.
Well, not where churches I went to.
The Coptic faith.
Went to church in Chicago, Ebenezer Baptist Church, which is a sister church of that. Anyway, time goes so quick. All right, he was talking about will a man rob God in times of offering that they can deliver the food to the people. These people turn around and say it for us. You are times fine, but you better pay your rent. You better pay your bills. God gave you the money. Here we go. 763-703-0546. Just call MTN.
At 331-8575.
612-331.
Brother Love.
And love you.
And next week we're going to have some more telephone. We got some telephones yesterday.
On Gospel Show, what we can say on this show.
Power.
To all on you, and just call family members and everybody else to pray.